Well, the federal government says Canada cannot afford to bear the economic impact of work stoppages at its two largest ports. So this morning, the Labour Minister stepped in to end lockouts in Vancouver and Montreal.
As Canada's Minister of Labour, it is my duty and responsibility to secure industrial peace and the national interest. So today, I have invoked my authorities under the Canada Labour Code. Under Section 107 of the Code, I've directed the Canada Industrial Relations Board to order that all operations and duties at the ports resume, and to assist the parties in settling their collective agreements by imposing final and binding arbitration.
The Montreal lockout began Sunday when 1,200 dock workers rejected their employer's latest contract offer. In Vancouver, 700 longshore supervisors hit the picket lines last week. They were locked out after their union issued a strike notice. Well, with negotiations at an impasse, the Labour Minister said he didn't have much choice. Steven MacKinnon said he had to act, and that decision is generating a lot of reaction. Our Kate McKenna spoke with Andrew earlier about the intervention and its importance.
Well, it's super consequential, both from an economic perspective and from a Labour perspective. And I'll sort of take you through both of them, starting with Labour. We can recall that this is the second time that the federal government has intervened to end a major labour dispute in recent months. We can think back to August when Steven MacKinnon also made an announcement that he was going to force workers and two rail companies into binding arbitration to end that dispute for the same reason, that it was causing a lot of harm to the Canadian economy. And at the time, and now once again, we're hearing from labours or we're hearing from unions rather that this really undermines their ability. It really undermines their power to negotiate and to push for what they think is appropriate for their workers. But then on the other side, we have the economy. So we heard Steve MacKinnon earlier today saying that the two sides in both disputes in Vancouver and in Montreal were at an impasse and things weren't getting better, and also that it's really harming the Canadian economy. We know, as you said, these are the two largest Canadian ports. More than $1 billion in goods is exported or goes through those ports every single day. And we heard recently from the CEO of the Port of Montreal saying that this could be catastrophic for the Canadian economy, and also that normal, everyday Canadians would start feeling the effects of this labour dispute in the coming days. But today, Steve MacKinnon defended his decision to send these disputes to binding arbitration.
I view actions to restore order, reasonable actions to restore order in our supply chains as being pro-worker. I do not like reading of layoffs. I do not like hearing of instability. And obviously, we want to make sure that our economy continues to function, that our trading relationships continue to function, and that international commitments that Canadian companies and workers have made to supply other countries are honored.
Suffice to say, the NDP does not see it that way. Leader Jagmeet Singh sent a statement earlier today saying that the decision to override the workers' action shows that, quote, being a bad boss pays off. Says the Liberal government will always cave to corporate greed and always step in to make sure unions have no power. A public sector union in Quebec was also very critical of the move. One additional dispute that the minister sent to binding arbitration is at the Quebec City port, where they've been using replacement workers for some time. That is also being sent to binding arbitration, and as a result, a public sector union in Quebec is saying that will undermine their ability to negotiate, and they should just impose a law, or rather they've already passed a law, but it should come into effect sooner for anti-replacement workers. So that's what they were saying. But then on the other side, we heard from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business that says that this move from the Labour Minister will be for the greater good of the Canadian economy.